Cliff. Cliff, I saw you contacted Jerry Milzine about the signage over there. Okay. And just waiting to hear back, right? Yeah. So thank you for taking that step for me.
Just one meeting, can you tell me what the signage your home was about?
Oh, sure. Go ahead, Cliff. Over on Elm.
Some of the signs are in the wrong place.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know how it has the 1,000 block, 1,100 block, 1,200 block, and it's supposed to correspond with the street.
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
Okay.
Cliff, do you mind forwarding that email to me as well?
On standard time or daylight saving?
Whenever you please. And I'll forward it to Spencer as well. He might have some more capacity to take that on.
Okay.
Okay, now who's Spencer?
He is, I don't know titles, but he's kind of right under Jerry.
Oh,
Jerry
okay.
is directly his boss.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he does a little bit more day-to-day stuff.
100 versus 10.
And Jeff is still here though, right?
Yes.
Right, okay.
Yes, Jeff's still here.
There's
He's
about
more under the parks
half a dozen of them like that.
realm of public works.
Yeah.
Spencer does more like the streets and that kind of
It
stuff.
takes a cliff to notice that.
I was going to say you must be even more.
No comment.
It's probably, right? You know, you're asked.
Because I never noticed. Yeah, maybe it was then. Yeah.
Typos, misspellings, and newspapers just jump out at me.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I don't even see them.
My like first week here, I was like, oh, they spelled
wife
Lake
does.
Park wrong on the sign. And I told somebody and he said, no, that's actually how it's spelled sometimes. Oh, okay. I'll walk back my
So going on hotspots, which brings us to we'll give you an update, and I think this is kind of a perfect time to talk about territorial and
Kevin?
it won't come to that, but I'll check.
locust that we've talked about before as a concern. And
Territorial.
Holly, I said locust, yeah, sorry, Holly. But before we go there, any new hotspots anyone wants to bring up? If so, is it okay if I throw it over to you, Bruce?
Sure. That'll be my county update too.
Perfect.
So we'll get to
We'll just
one side way.
cruise.
I got a call 1 minute before the meeting started from our county meeting from Mindy, and
Yeah.
wanted me to present a hotspot, and I said, no, I haven't thought this out, but I did act on it.
And you weren't here when we were
Right,
talking.
so I didn't have the background, I didn't feel comfortable bringing it up,
Yeah.
because when you bring up a hotspot on the county level, you kind of have to defend it.
Yeah,
And
and
if you're not prepared to defend it, you're doomed.
You can't
Yeah,
say
and-
he told me to.
And,
That's right.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also I had to pull out of the meeting at the last minute, so I was like hot potato. Bruce, if you want to, at least get it in the queue.
You were very happy with when I said no.
It's okay, it's okay, because I know you and I know that we want to present it.
But let me go on. First of all, the county hotspot program is hotspots, pedestrian or cycling, whatever. But it's things that basically can be done under their maintenance budget. In other words, you need a stop sign, or you need, something
Simple.
very, very simple. And it cannot be a capital improvement at all. And so, these $20,000, $40,000 ideas, that isn't where it works. So, and I knew that, and so I called Scott 2 days after the meeting, and I think it was Thursday, and he said, hey, here's what we're talking about, and wondering if we can call this a county hotspot And I said, I'm not sure about the jurisdiction. And because it's territorial, and Holly, and I knew that the north part of Holly is good, but south part of the city, territorial, I wasn't sure of. So he looked it up. He says the cities owns territorial.
Okay. Well,
And he says it's a really,
all of territory?
they have.
Or at least right there.
And they're right there.
Yeah.
And I think about it, it makes sense, because, they changed the speed limit down toward the
You're
far end.
Yep.
And they changed the four-way
It has
stop.
changed over the years.
Yeah, so I believe that's probably right,
Yeah,
but he didn't say absolutely no on the jurisdiction, but he says it's a really interesting question, because it's right on the line.
Mhm.
But he said, the trouble with a crosswalk is it has to meet a lot of engineering standards. And, you're saying it's a safe place to cross, and it also has to be ADA compliant.
And there's a lot of liability.
And there's a lot of liability, and there's a lot of engineering that can go into it. So there goes hotspots. And so, that kind of kills it. But it's kind of like, the city says they want sidewalks in each corner. Well, that goes along with the ADA compliance. So it's kind of all, I hate to say it, but it fits. It isn't the answer you want, I know, but it's not we're not gonna get help on the county on that one.
and we were realizing it was more of a capital improvement, even though I still put it as a hotspot. Sorry, guys. You're right. Yeah.
So, it's, I know when you asked me, and I thought about the financial, oh, it's just paint.
You know.
No, it's not just paint, I'm afraid.
No, we need sidewalks first.
Yeah, we need the sidewalks.
So, Herman Maldonado was here, our new liaison, last month, and he was, at least at that meeting, kind of fired up about, making sure that that was addressed and everything. So that's encouraging, and we'll have to make sure it gets on the TSP.
What is it, Russ?
The crosswalks. Or
That intersection.
something to improve that intersection for the
But wouldn't the
district.
city come across the same issues that the county said?
They will, they will.
Exactly. And
And
they're gonna
so,
put the sidewalks in.
It'd be a capital improvement,
Yeah.
yes.
yeah,
Now,
So-
I think the
where did I just see? And it's around town. It was a new crosswalk. Oh, right there at Territorial and Redwood. They don't have crosswalks in yet on the northwest corner. But they have the ADA ramp, and they'll be building the dog park there, and then the other is going towards the city public works.
Well, has that been approved by council? Okay, so we don't know they're gonna build it or not.
but you have
But
the ADA ramp. and
They have an
sidewalk.
ADA ramp.
There's no
and they-
sidewalk.
Well, they have at least painted indicators for sidewalks there. So, it's all worth keeping the discussion going and see what kind of flexibility and motivations we can get. So,
I just wonder how many arterials we have in the city that don't have sidewalks.
yeah, I mean, we should probably take a good hard look at them. I mean, what are things, we need to kind of get get a good grasp and maybe take a good hard look at our arterials and, major roads on our, and see what kind of infrastructure we have for active transportation as far as, especially crosswalks and sidewalks on those major arterials, don't you think?
I sound like a broken record. TSP will have a sidewalk gaps analysis, so they will identify where we do and don't have sidewalks in the city.
I would
When is
suggest
that
paying
available?
Cliff to be.
Yeah.
He's got.
I
the
mean, I wouldn't ask him to
I'll send
volunteer,
the
but
consultant for-
this guy would
Yeah.
be the man.
Well, and even when that comes in, we should probably have you all ground truth it a little bit.
Yeah.
Because they're not.
Look to see if any are missed.
Yeah.
Look at it, look at the list and see if
Yeah.
anything is missing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You all will know.
Did you, Bruce, I kind of interrupted, I'm sorry. Did you have?
That was I thought that we should be looking at arterials especially. And it wasn't thinking about the TSPs, that's a good, I don't know all the streets that are arterials, we get feeders and arterials often confused.
Right.
And so we need a little education on, which I know territorial is an arterial. Territorial is an arterial.
Right.
Let's see, Birch Street is not an arterial.
I can pull up the map.
Isn't the word collector rather than,
When you look at
Or it
the,
could be collector versus feeder, yeah.
and the good news is that on the current TSP, those are marked color. There's the
They're
legend
colored
there,
on
and
the
you'll
TSP,
see.
So arterials tend to be more main road,
They were designed to be more
Yeah.
main.
more traffic, designed for more traffic.
Yeah, so
Does that mean they're
like
wider?
down
Yeah,
on
you kind of
the
design for
main
greater capacity
east-west
of travel,
arterial,
which is usually wider.
east-west arterial on the north side of town is territorial, and the main east-west on the south side is 13. Although township is pretty considerable, and I kind of wonder if that's
Is
considered
Ivy,
an
what's
arterial
Ivy
still,
considered?
or
Because it turns to
I
becomes.
think it's an arterial, one of the main north-south arterials is Ivy.
It
Is
is.
it like Ivy and Grant?
Mhm.
material?
Tenth is not.
So in other words,
A lot-
more
there's a lot of
it's
traffic
a given
on
that
that.
more resources.
So the res, the
So
arterials there.
arterials is our highest,
Yeah,
so
higher.
highway,
And-
99 is the highest, and then you go to arterial, so
Oh.
looks like all of territorial is not.
Oh, yeah, and Ivy.
So they're marking the neighborhood connector once you get past.
Yeah, right at that intersection where we've identified.
So I'm sorry, so going back up to the legend in the left there, so red are arterials,
Green and
green
collector.
is collector, neighborhood connector is blue. Okay,
So Birch is-
And it doesn't show 10th going through.
Yeah, this is from the last time the TSP was done, which is at least
So-
10 years, if not more.
so yeah, this will be updated and it's probably really good, we're taking a,
And so, like, it's
Good.
possible that, it's probably very possible that this will become an arterial in the next,
So-
reevaluate.
Yeah.
So Ivy's the arterial and Holly's the collector,
Mhm.
unless until it gets
Oh,
north of
yeah.
territorial.
But Google's been wanting to make Birch an arterial too.
Right.
Mhm.
Well,
Or at
that's
least it
why
was
they
for a
put
while,
those
right?
speed bumps in there.
Yeah, I know.
Birch. So there's not very many arterials in the city.
so wait, how far out does 13th go there? What is that green, that's Malina
Malina.
Road, okay, good.
So I think we should just be pushing, for sidewalks on arterials for now. Fill those gaps.
Well, you kind of have to identify, you're not gonna put them on every block, but at the main intersections, right?
Yeah, so I'm talking even sidewalks in. You get
Oh,
sidewalks,
sidewalks, sorry.
sidewalks,
Yeah.
you get sidewalks, and then you can start talking about
Sorry.
crosswalks.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And so, in the policy way, right, I'm almost certain that they right now say we do require sidewalks, but the problem is that's only getting put in when someone develops on these,
Right.
on arterials.
But those are all developed on a lot of
Yeah.
those arterials.
Between,
Right.
between 10th and the territorial, I changed the red and green between Holly and Ivy.
Okay.
Holly's definitely more of a,
So what do other
Like a arterial.
cities and
in
jurisdictions of our
practice, it's more of an
size
arterial
usually
than Ivy
do
is.
Yeah, and so that's the kind of thing, right, that a
Volumes.
consultant on paper sees
to
this,
fill in
but,
their
at
sidewalk
living
gaps
here,
on
traveling those
pre-existing?
roads every day, that's the kind of input that is really helpful to have.
Why do you think that? Why do you think Holly is more of an arterial than Ivy?
It has about 10 times the traffic,
Does it?
yeah.
Mhm.
I don't
Does
know.
get
Yeah.
pushed.
It does.
And do they take into account, in the next 5 years, did I hear that it's possible the urban growth boundary will change?
Yes.
And is that
Consider
gonna
it.
be taken into account with,
Yes,
do you
so-
know already potentially where it could end up?
Where the UGB will end up?
Yeah.
We have a little bit of guidelines because we have so where the existing UGB hasn't been expanded. And then, this is probably more information than me, but Metro designated land 20 years ago or so that is rural and urban reserves. And so the rural reserves have to say rural for a long amount of time
Oh,
now.
interesting.
And so we can't, it's basically like the lowest level of, you really have to fight hard to get to those levels. So we kind of have a little, that urban reserve kind of gives a little bit of an indication of where we can go.
And so with these plans, when these get, decided,
Updated.
revamping the arterial and all that, they could potentially change.
And that's why they are doing the comprehensive plan.
Yeah, comprehensive plan is
Kind of
part of-
in coordination with the TSP,
Yeah.
so that they address those
Kind of.
sorts of things.
Oh, so is that the area on the far left corner, is that the area, the upper?
This is in
the
the-
upper, is that the potential, is that that area you're
Here?
saying is designated to?
On the far left column.
left here.
Yeah, and up
This,
above that.
yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head. This is already in the UGB, just not developed. I believe
But if
this
you
up here is kind of
The
where
print up there that says boundary on the left.
Yeah, it says something growth.
Urban
Oh,
growth.
I see.
Oh, that's the legend.
So the what's tan is what's actually in the city, and then this is what's in the urban growth. So this land could annex today, but the discussion is where do you expand the urban growth
Oh,
boundary?
as you said, that's an old map, because we're looking at
Correct,
it, we
yeah.
know, we've already got housing
And
out
so,
there.
yeah, so like this is in the city, and this is all in the city now down here.
So
Most
do
of our
they,
running out of land.
does the UGB typically get expanded more in the areas like where there already is a greater area of that in the upper part with that?
The state has some interesting criteria for what land should come first, and it really is about what is not farmland and quality of farmland soil. So not so much, there's existing houses, let's pull those in.
Right. So what they're trying to avoid developing on like the best possible farmland.
Exactly, yeah,
soil,
yeah, you have
soil.
classification.
That's a good thing.
And
So they actually have
Yeah.
soils maps that
Yeah,
kind
interesting.
of coordinate with.
But also, so is classification of like, if this was a massive hill, infrastructure costs to go over, if you had to
Oh, yeah.
put entirely new sewer, water, connections over a massive hill, that's also.
Or if it's a swamp or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, or
So
solid
there's-
bedrock.
But it is
Or
kind of,
flood, they probably look at flood potential and stuff too.
yeah, but very environmentally focused from the state planning. But the TSP will look 20 years out, and since we are kind of doing all this work in tandem, I think it will definitely be a consideration of where traffic is going to. And the consultants doing it are DKS, who are already our traffic consultants for the city, and they have already developed models of traffic in the city and kind of projections into the future of what happens based on today's traffic.
I have a question. In the current TSP plan, do they have proposed sidewalks anywhere? And what do those look like on our arterials? Is this something that's already there, but
Yeah, because this would have been
We've
13
just
years
been
ago,
used.
right?
Yeah, what
What's
has
This
been,
would have been 13 years
See
ago.
what's happening.
kind of what
So
actually happened,
what
yeah, how
happened
good of a
compared to
good
what they
job
said,
they did.
right?
Let's see.
That's a great question.
Oh yeah, here, financially constrained bicycle and pedestrian improvements. So let's see, 5.1, 9.6. So, kind of small, but. So it looks like most of the pedestrian.
see that far.
Yeah, it's
Sorry,
kind of
Bruce.
blurry,
I
sorry.
can't either.
So it looks like there's really a focus on downtown and
Is that 99 where all those yellow dots are?
So,
That's-
yes, 99, yeah.
That's
What's the new
Well,
multi-use
so this
trail?
night, this is second, I believe, or first.
Oh, those yellow dots says new multi-use trail.
Yeah, where is that?
Doesn't
Along the
exist.
highway.
Yeah, I
Doesn't
know.
I don't think it exists.
Yeah, Bruce and I discussed that quite a bit.
You think about riding it sometime?
Okay.
We think that it should be designed differently.
Well, this is south. Yeah, I know.
Where should it be?
Farther north, instead of being right along the highway.
Okay. So off the highway,
Uh-huh.
this way. This side of the highway.
Yeah, sidewalk, new roadway.
So
Where
where,
It should-
along territorial?
It should go through the storage facility area. Which is a problem.
The one north of, right?
North,
The RV one.
and I think it
Yeah,
had
already
been indicated,
Oh, no, I'm thinking of a different.
Jim, wasn't there, isn't this the one on the north side? That's the one that was indicated. That's this, right?
yes,
And where it connects to the logging road down there?
And so,
yes.
I use connection here, third.
Because the way that's on the map is pretty much right at the,
Looks like
right
it's-
into the bridge,
Yeah.
pretty high up.
Well, they'll just put like a ramp you can jump off of, something
Oh,
like that.
so,
That's Sue.
you know, have they, do they have the plans for the new intersection already on
Which,
Pine and
First.
Third, Second, whatever that is, by the fairgrounds?
oh, this kind of jog
Yeah.
over,
Because this is a key
yeah.
thing to make sure that we get connected here.
Mhm,
it
And,
goes right through that business building.
yeah. There's no, not to my knowledge there, I know that kind of there's a desire to improve how there's that intersection.
I thought that was.
That
Yeah.
Pine
haven't
Street.
If you go straight north of the railroad museum.
Yeah, we would move that.
No,
No, it would go north of it,
North
you
of it,
said, north
yeah.
of it.
Oh, look around.
so that's 4th Street right there, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if you just go straight on 4th Street, it would go behind the museum, straight over to Pine. Much better way.
And this sidewalk, new roadway is dashed greens, but I don't see
Yeah, I
dashed
don't see-
greens much
And
of
it's
anywhere.
calling
Do
it
you?
down here segment of pedestrian improvement, so maybe, but I don't know where the full map. Oh, well, maybe this, you know what, maybe this is just the.
There's another map over there.
Yeah, that's the, like, one we're wondering if this is like the executive summary, and then there's a bigger figure, here we go. So this is the whole. It's the whole map, so up here.
Oh, okay.
4th.
Well, that's not very
Good.
impressive, is
But
it?
you're not, you,
For,
that's changed, you're not gonna do an auto road, you're gonna do Walnut.
This is Walnut.
Says,
No.
did it used to be called auto?
Well, it's a different route.
Is that road there?
It
Auto-
curves.
No, I've never seen an auto road there.
There
I
is
drive
one.
by it.
Is it?
Yeah,
Is that the industrial area right there?
Oh, is that
No,
just, there's just
no.
like a couple
Neighborhood.
houses there or
Yeah.
something, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
But it doesn't go anywhere, it's just a little road that
right.
is like a dead end, there's a few
Right.
houses, yeah.
So the Walnut Street extension is curves over
Mhm.
north
Mm.
and it doesn't go through auto road.
so I have a question for you, Emma.
Trying.
So there's definitely, I'm trying to figure out how, as we go through this TSP, that you know, say if I'm on the TSP committee as representative here. But is there a way that I can get the committee's input on some of the things as we go along the way? In a way that, can I send it out? I don't know.
I think
How do I go about
yes, I think the input, you're just kind of being the messenger of that input. So I think it would be good to have discussions about it with everybody. The tricky part is that it needs to be in this meeting, and so it's just like, will the map come out? Usually like they only send stuff out a week-ish in advance of those meetings.
Because Emma was saying that the Walnut Street extension is progressing,
Yes.
and you're talking about the intersection at 99E,
Yeah.
because it's actually going here and over
okay.
here. We're not having this and we're not having that.
Yeah.
It's,
I see.
it's going over here.
Yeah.
Is it gonna be south of the little creek thing that, because I remember
I don't
Greg
know.
saying that was an issue, like the water, because there's and I can see
The
it
question is
there.
how close to the restaurant, the Jarbo's, is it gonna come out?
Yeah, isn't it gonna come through there sort of just,
Part of the
Parking
parking
lot.
lot, right?
right?
On the south edge of the parking lot, I think.
Yeah.
Or they're gonna have truck parking there, so people can pull over in their trucks and go eat.
I doubt it.
No, I don't.
Okay.
Well, that bikini barista place will get a lot more business. I got it, right?
Truck drivers needing their coffee.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, Mindy, the answer is yes, but timing is tricky.
Yeah.
So maybe, as that kind of becomes more of a.
Well, and sometimes I can maybe share images, but don't comment
Yeah, or.
until we're in
Or,
committee.
yeah, and then if they're
You
just.
could call it an emergency.
Like,
meeting.
Yeah.
If we have to, I don't know.
Yeah.
Or,
Why-
Is that what
why-
in
why-
Jarbo's, just a little south?
Yeah.
And it could be an
Yes, I think
emergency
so.
Zoom meeting, so we didn't have to even get together, right?
You see on the other side that
You could, if you had something
The
like
residential
that, you
area
could
is
just call
blocked.
for an emergency Zoom
Yeah.
meeting, and as long as you had a quorum, it'd be
Garbage
fine,
can.
right?
Yeah.
is across from
I think so,
Oh.
it's just what the thing
You
on
sure we
calling an
don't have-
emergency meeting kind of comes in, but I think usually these things take a while, so I think we won't be needing, any major emergency meetings, because there's gonna be a lot of time for input, but I think we'll be okay. But I'm just thinking about sharing
Like these.
images so that we can all have looked at them, and
Yes.
then when we come together, we really know,
Yeah.
kind of
I
like,
think that's-
let's look at this,
Mhm.
I
recommend
see.
this.
So they
this,
could be
and
part
that.
of our agenda, right?
Yeah.
It gets emailed out, so we can all look at it before the meeting.
Yeah.
whatever you're
Yeah,
saying.
Yeah.
come prepared with comments.
What's that?
Come prepared with comments in
Yeah.
advance of the meeting, not.
Yeah. That should be okay, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and so there, but here's the thing. If this is, that's Ivy,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, sidewalk.
Oh, no, that's
Holly.
Holly. That's Holly. This is Ivy. There's no sidewalk here yet.
That is Holly.
Yeah.
Why do they say there's?
I mean, this is Holly, this is territorial, but we have no sidewalk right there on either side of that.
There's lots of gaps not shown.
So,
See, that's where they need it.
Sidewalk.
but are they saying that this
They're
is,
saying put a
You would've
sidewalk.
caught that.
they're saying put a sidewalk there?
Yeah.
So
There's an
they are
existing
saying
road.
we should be putting a
Well,
sidewalk there.
it's solid green that says, that means it's existing, right?
That's how I read it.
No,
It means pedestrian improvement, so the road is if it's existing.
Pedestrian improvement.
blue is
Oh,
existing.
existing sidewalk.
Yeah, I was looking at
Okay,
it
a
that way
dash, a
too.
dash green line is, there's no roadway.
Yeah.
And it needs,
The new
Oh, I
road
see.
would require, so like if auto was to have continued.
I misread the legend too.
Yeah.
The blue was hiding, so.
really what it doesn't show is the gaps, because we do know a lot of it has sidewalks.
I think
And a lot has changed since this.
No.
the other concern that I have is, is a new plan taking into consideration, is it gonna assume that the toll thing is gonna happen on 205? And because I know, like, does ODOT even have their projections yet as to how that's gonna affect us with the traffic volume? And
They have a little bit, that's a good question. I don't know the answer specifically, but I think it kind of depends on where things with that are at, but I think that's,
I think that could
impact,
impact
yes.
how this will, because there's gonna be overall more,
Yeah.
potentially more traffic on off night, because people are gonna start diverting off 99 because there's gonna be too much traffic, and so they're gonna take the side roads.
Mhm.
There gonna be more people going down Birch.
And probably Google will
They get
start
the
taking them different
territory.
ways, because Birch is gonna get so clogged up.
Could we look at, I don't know, bike lanes and things also?
Yeah, let's see what.
I don't know
And I think that's another one
With
that's,
those speed bumps in on Birch, because we live off the Birch, I'd be driving to my house, and at least once a week, somebody would pass me on Birch.
Fast.
you're driving.
I'm driving, and I'm
Too
going the
slow.
speed limit, 25 miles an hour.
And somebody would get
And somebody
impatient
would
and
pass
just.
me on Birch before those speed bumps went in. So all the people that say they don't like the speed bumps, I get it. Because there's things about speed bumps, like people slow down, and then they speed up, so it makes more car noise and stuff. So there's people that complain about
I think what they should have done, instead of speed bumps, put them at the intersections, and then raised as the continuous sidewalks in Europe.
it.
Would be the speed bump, plus would be,
Like it is on 13th by the acronym.
yes,
Sure. All I know is that it's way better now.
yeah.
I haven't been passed
Yeah,
since they went in.
well, probably a lot better for the people who live on that.
Oh, I couldn't imagine, yeah, if you lived down there.
So existing bike lanes are in blue again.
And maybe this is just so out of date that we isn't, but it is nice to see what was proposed, I guess. So green is where we already have white shoulders on both sides. Supposedly, that might have changed to,
99.
wait, are they doing that on 99E?
That's what it's showing.
Well, that's a proposed thing, right?
No.
No.
It says existing.
They just say it's wide lane, so.
Well, let's see, what is this? Bicycle improvements.
It says
Yeah,
white
bicycle
shoulder.
improvement.
Okay, that's under bicycle improvements.
So the orange is the. new
Oh, okay, bicycle improvement, sorry.
Orange, right?
Mhm.
So these are existing. No existing bike lane is red. But existing bike lanes were blue.
So that
Pretty much.
shows that they were gonna put it on Holly, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the orange is what they
Mhm.
proposed, they were gonna put in Holly. What's that other road right there?
Knight's
Knight's Bridge?
Knight's
Yeah,
Bridge.
Knight's Bridge.
And there is bike lane.
Is this
right?
proposal to have
As you
Holly
get to
cross
the top,
the railroad?
that bike lane doesn't go all the way to the river, right?
No, I
No.
don't think it does.
Okay. Well, that's
It looks like
interesting.
it stops right
Stops right
at
there.
the,
Okay.
which might be because Holly stops. And then Ivy has. And we cross here.
Well, we don't go down there because it doesn't cross the
Mm.
railroad. We go over on Ivy.
Mhm.
So I think it's silly making that orange.
And then is that other orange down there that goes out, that's
Fourth?
by the fairgrounds, right?
Oh, here, yes.
Yes. And we
This-
have
this
those
kinda-
there now.
Yeah, there's bike
Yeah.
lanes there now, right?
Yeah.
This triangles.
That's actually a nice way.
And on, I assume that's
Yeah, Knightsbridge.
Knightsbridge, and those are there.
If there was a way to get onto the logging road right there where that B6 is,
Yes,
then that would be really nice.
it would be nice.
Mhm.
Because that's a nice way to get to, because you can go across Pine and there's that trail that goes up.
Yeah, and then the little cul-de-sac.
And that would be
going
better
to
than
that
the orange dots.
Yeah, those orange dots, I struggle with those.
Yeah.
They were gonna happen.
That would really help funnel people, I mean, in a good way, a really good one.
Well, it's kind of like that map I drew up where it was how we could get people from the logging road to downtown, right?
Mhm. So.
Well, you have it going on Fourth just like that.
Now, Jeff, I'm trying to remember how did you funnel them again?
Well,
Can
it
you
was
point
based,
to it on this?
yeah,
map
well,
it gives
so it
us
was
a-
based on these routes right here that came off of the logging road, and then the most direct route to downtown was what I drew up.
Mhm.
Because this here, there's no way to get there.
And
So,
it's
but you could go
dangerous.
from here to up here and then across, right? Or you could get like here and then go straight across here to Ivy and up.
Because it's pretty steep coming off the logging road right at that apartment complex.
Right. So
Yeah.
what I showed Mindy was get off the logging road to here, to this red Pine Street, and then up to there and then across on the orange. That's one of the routes I showed. Because I think that, one of the goals of the city is to funnel people to businesses in downtown. And right now, if you're on the logging road, there's nothing that says, oh, hey, if you just rode your bike or walked right here on this nice sidewalk for a mile, you'll be in the middle of downtown where there's some restaurants and shopping.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Is there like an area, do people out of town use the logging road frequently?
And do people what?
From that don't live in Canby, like
Yes,
come to.
a lot.
And
there's,
so
there's a
generally,
lot of cyclists that come down from
A lot.
Portland
and so where do they, do you know, like, is there a spot they usually park? Is it
Eco Park.
it's
Eco
up
Park.
here? But yeah, so that makes sense if you're coming down, whatever, you do the whole trail, come back, like come pop into town,
Yeah.
grab a bite and then go back and go.
If
to
there
the
was
park.
a nice sign that said downtown Canby.
Mhm.
So at the time we had, I mean, I really think we should get the wayfinding going, but who do we
Who do we talk to?
Yeah, who do we talk to?
That's a good question. I don't know. Do you recall who you engaged with in the past about?
Well, in the
signs?
past, when Calvin Lesueur was here, they had, one of his projects was putting up wayfinding for some of the kind of touristy sites around town, but we didn't have the
Yeah.
forethought of
What is it?
promoting the logging road, because it really is a tourism feature
Yeah.
and should be considered so. Whenever we see it not mentioned, we should bump it in there and.
I will ask who I
Did
know.
you see that?
No, I didn't. I did one too. Since I wasn't, but.
And Mindy, do you know Calvin, what department he was?
He was Tyler Niser's.
Ah, okay, got it.
Okay.
Thank you. I'll look into that and get back to you at the next meeting.
And, yeah, so I don't know how you get any of that budgeted, because I think that was done on a grant back in the day,
Maybe not.
but,
Yeah.
Maybe it can be budgeted since it's a couple songs,
Yeah, not a huge cost.
Okay. So we
Well,
had a
that
lot
was a
to,
rabbit trail.
we had a lot to chew on. Before we go on to our next, is there any thought or comment here before we proceed? Otherwise, I'll throw it over to Britt. We started talking
Yeah,
about.
I guess the only thing that I really have to say about outreach is just, I think it would be good if, because I know that last time we had kind of talked about coming up with some ideas for how we want to utilize social media and what kinds of things to post. And I think what would be good is just figuring out what our messaging should be, like what message do we want to get over, and kind of be focusing on that, because I feel like at first, when we first started that page, it was more about just promoting just the logging road and hey, taking pictures and how fun the logging road can be, and then we started posting other, when there were surveys and that kind of thing, we started posting that on there. But I just feel like if we can come up with a comprehensive message that we want, or like a theme that we want to really focus on, that would be good, and we can kind of grab attention that way. And we don't have to think of it right now, but just maybe mull over it for the next meeting, because we just talked about it. But that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, thoughts, comments there? We'll continue to mull. Okay.
On what our outreach message should be.
Um,
Was there anything in our goals for last month about that?
I think there was a little bit,
It
but
just
I think it
says
was just more.
Outreach, so, no,
Yeah.
we were mulling from last
We
month.
were kind of mulling from last month.
Okay, got it.
The coming up, maybe one of the things I will forward that I just got from Scott Holscher from Clackamas County is ODOT has their STIP coming up, Safety Transportation Infrastructure Planning, is that right?
Right.
And it's open for public comment, so that might be something you want.
I recently posted an ODOT thing. I think it was about the toll thing, and they were wanting public input and that kind of thing. So I posted that. So this is something different.
So this is something different. And
Yeah, so if you send that to me, then I can.
okay.
I'll come up with those sort of things.
Mhm. And feel free to share with whoever you like. I'm sure the more public comment they have on things, better. And there are, it's an infrastructure bill, but beyond just bridges and roads, there's ADA things and active transportation things, so they want input. So there you go.
And that's the other thing, sorry to interrupt,
I
but
know.
we should, another thing to mull over is to think about whether we should change the name, if the page is gonna be about more than just the logging road. Like we're posting these things, like should we call it something else? So just something to think about.
Yeah. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Because we kind of mentioned it last month. Do we keep the name, logging road as promoting the logging road, or are we
I
talking?
gotta agree with your reasoning. However, the logging road is what grabs people, I think. So I don't know if we can expand on that title. The logging road and active transportation. I mean, says something to me, because we've been dealing with it. But for the average person,
What if you say, logging road, get outside? Something, like active transportation, your average person doesn't know what that is,
Right.
Maybe we can come up with something catchy.
I was gonna say something involving recreation, but it's not
Yeah.
just recreation. I mean, it could be people
Yeah,
going from one place to
you can
another.
say run,
Not
walk,
recommended.
bike, or run, bike, roll, or,
Well, I think that definitely what you say, Bruce, to me, that resonates, right? The
Mhm.
reason that there's that many people that have followed the
Yeah.
page is because of its name.
Right.
Right,
I agree.
Right.
So
so we don't
I'm
want
not
to mess it up
saying,
too much.
I think if we do change the name, we add to the name.
Right.
Yeah,
Canopy Logging Road and more.
yeah,
That would be,
Maybe
something
something-
like that would be.
yeah, maybe that's all we need.
Or Disney Plus.
Disney Plus.
Can't
Logging
call you
Road
a plus? Is that what you're saying? Okay,
Plus-
I like it.
Logging Road 2.0.
I'm not sure anybody would even notice that it get changed. though.
And also, does that complicate our Facebook thing in a way? Is it hard
If
to
we
change the
change the
name or not?
I don't even know.
Because there's 619 followers to it right now.
It might actually be a booster because it's like,
So it's been a little
something-
stagnant, I know.
yeah.
But we're kind of going into the season where
Yep.
people are outdoors more and
Mhm.
doing things more, so.
I just prefer websites over Facebook myself.
Okay, standard, man.
We could call it logging road and more,
Facebook is evil.
Yeah.
Facebook is evil.
Do we
like
do
bikes
a-
and more.
I'm
without
not
making
sure
do we do an
it
Instagram thing just to get people, because more people look at Instagram? That's the other question.
We could, but then we have to make sure, I mean, I think what would be good would be to have more pictures and, you know, good visuals, I guess. Because I feel like Instagram, you know, as far as like posting the surveys and that kind of thing, I feel like Facebook might be better than Instagram for that.
True.
But
I don't know, a lot of people are looking at Instagram a lot more than Facebook. I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
And if you, so you can set it up so that if you post on
on when,
Instagram.
yeah.
post on Facebook,
Yeah.
And I can look into doing that,
Yeah.
because since we have a Facebook page, it should be pretty easy for that, just to do it.
Yeah.
Instagram one too.
That might be something.
Bruce, you do a lot of posting. Do you know how easy or anything?
I don't do a lot of posting.
Okay.
Well, I can mess around with that.
Okay.
Well, snow falls on Logging Road.
No,
So sticking with some outreach here, we sometimes have like a spring ride or a tulip ride or, well, the tulip ride's a little longer usually, but I'm wondering, if this committee feels like any fun little ride, and as much as I love Tuesday night rides, I can never make it to one. But I think we should extend it to anybody and everybody, you know,
So do you want to promote like a Canby fun ride and invite the
What about-
citizens of Canby to a ride? Is that what you're saying, Mindy? Or are you saying?
Sure.
Or are you saying just
Or,
this
you know what,
group?
that
I'm trying
we
to-
can do it for this group or extend it to, what do you guys want to do?
So I think
I'm just introducing the
if we
subject.
did, I mean, I think if we do a ride, I think it'd be good for it to be this group. If we did a community thing, I think actually a walk might be better, because I feel like that's a little more accessible, and we could try to reach out to, you know, the Hispanic community and just try to get more people who might not normally go on the trail, try to get them out. And maybe
You know
just
what
down
we
the road.
could do?
And just an idea.
I think that's a great idea. And I think it'd be a great way to introduce some of the Hispanic community to the logging road, because a lot of them don't
Right.
even know it existed, right? But the other thing, maybe I'm thinking too grim, but if we coordinate it with another civic activity, you know, some sort of community.
I can talk
Something
to
in the summer that
so
we-
I volunteer for Bridging Cultures. I'm actually
Oh.
an ESL marketer now for them. and I volunteer at the vaccine clinics and that kind of thing, so I could ask the volunteer coordinator what she thinks, because they put on those like, in the summertime, they put on those lunches in the park. I forget what they call that, but it's a bridging cultures thing where the whole community, like I've gone there before to get lunch, and they have, you know, Mexican dancing there, and it's just really, it's pretty cool. Maybe in association with that, because they really try to get that community to go to that, and so that might be something in conjunction, I don't know, but
I think the most important thing is just getting them out there.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't want to detract from any activity if they think it's going to detract.
Right.
I'm just thinking the other side of it now.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I would love to hear their thoughts
Yeah,
on
I can talk to you.
whatever form it might take.
Yeah.
And maybe it doesn't have to be the logging road, but just getting them
Right.
comfortable. And,
Mhm.
but it might be somewhere, I don't know. What do you guys think?
So normally they have those lunches, I think, at Wade Park or is it Locust?
Sure.
On the other side of 99.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, a park there, yeah. But I wonder if there's a park or something really close to the logging road where it'd be easy, I don't know.
Like, go park.
Yeah, I mean, that could be a possibility, but then there's the issue with like parking, and the problem with the Echo Park is, well, I guess once they have a dog park there, then there should be plenty of parking and stuff, right, in that area?
I mean, where else is there
That's nice
a
thinking.
park where there's more parking?
There's-
Maple Street Park?
Maple Street has some.
I was thinking of someplace like that's easy to get to the logging road trail, because I do think the logging road, it would be perfect if it could be like somewhere right pretty much on the logging road where they hold the event, and then just go for a little walk down the logging road. I mean, that would be a good way to introduce it, but.
How many people would you expect to see under this event?
Well, there were a few hundred at least when I went to the first one they had in the summer. Like that little Locust Park or whatever, it wasn't big enough. It was like, they could have used more space. And
Right,
usually,
but we're talking about, that was like food and dancing and stuff. We're talking about going for a walk on a trail.
right, well, I'm saying if it's in conjunction, like if they had the event near where the trail is,
Okay. So
and then, hey, one of the activities for this event is to
Part
do a
of
little
the event.
nature walk. Or
Okay, I got you.
that kind of thing,
I missed that.
Because then you have people there anyway, and they're all together, so it can just be one of the offerings.
Well, how far is it from like Echo Park to the river, right?
Yeah,
Like a mile?
because that's pretty down there. And
It is.
probably
That would be
don't
really-
even know.
I mean,
Right, that would be
if you're
really
talking about
awesome.
promoting a Can Be Fun walk, it's just a short thing to get people outside.
Yeah, and see something, a place they haven't been. I mean, the people who know the logging road, it's great, but there's a lot of people who don't.
I don't think Echo Parking would be enough.
Yeah, the issue would be the parking. I mean, there, maybe something could be done not in conjunction with that, but it would be easiest if it could be in
But what
conjunction.
about like at one of the schools up here that's right on the logging road that has all the school parking?
That would be,
You know,
Oh, like Baker Prairie or
Mhm.
something?
what about like, I mean, on a weekend, there's nobody at those schools probably most of the time.
Right.
And I don't know the logistics of doing something like that.
Yeah, and actually Baker Prairie is where they sometimes do, I think like our last class of the term is gonna be, because these are all, like ESL classes are all Zoom, except the first and last classes of the term, which are at Baker Prairie. So maybe they have a relationship that would allow that, yeah.
But I mean, if a group had their activity at the school, because schools do allow community groups to have activities there.
Yeah.
Then it would be right on the logging road, and you could say, okay, we're gonna, as part of the activity, we're gonna go for a walk on the logging road. You can go one direction or the other. If you go this way, you can walk probably to the bridge and look over 99 and walk back, or you can walk 13th.
It's not as scenic as the riverway, but it's still an introduction to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can talk to them about that because they could, I think the parking lot of Baker Prairie or just one of the fields or something would be perfect for doing their lunch thing, and there'd be plenty of room, it wouldn't be an issue. And it sounds like they already, because they use Baker Prairie to do some of the classes, it sounds like they probably have a relationship.
Although, here's the thing, if it turns out to be something that is a worthwhile, good project, I mean, we could be doing it other years, make it a little bit of an annual thing or a twice yearly thing or whatever. But also, as I'm thinking about this, what's nice about going towards the river is that there's a lot of shade. And for some of those families, that might not have shade and still get out and walk and stuff. So anyway, I'm sitting here thinking, do we coordinate with something or not?
Yeah,
All over the place.
I can just run it by
Yeah.
Yvette, who's the volunteer organizer, who kind of puts on
And then
those
if you-
events and just see kind of what she thinks.
Yeah.
Because really just the purpose would be introducing more people to the
Which
walking
right.
road.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think you're gonna put on an event like that and get people that don't normally go on the walking road to wanna walk for 3 miles.
Right,
Yeah,
right, it
no,
would just be
heck
like,
no.
just be like,
No,
let's walk
no.
down a little bit.
That's why I was wondering, do we do it,
I think we
in
get
a
them to
place
walk a
that everyone
mile,
already
that's probably
knows?
pretty doable for most
Yeah.
people.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I was not indicating
Okay,
that,
all right.
yeah.
I just wanted.
No, I was just
Okay.
thinking, do we do Baker Prairie end or do we do
Well,
the
you
other
know,
end? But
if we ever got it connected to the state park, there's a lot of parking at the state park.
yeah,
And that's
Yeah.
beautiful, right?
yeah.
Won't that be,
Yeah.
if that ever gets connected between there, that would be
Yeah.
awesome.
It would,
I would love that.
I would too.
That'd be even
I
better.
would do it
loop,
today if
huh?
I could.
Take your bike and go down there and loop back down, wouldn't that be a great little loop?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was up to the river this morning, and I'm gonna get early tomorrow, I think I better,
So-
I'm
Okay,
faded,
I am,
I'm faded.
yeah, so I think we've kind of covered everything, and we can call it a night unless anyone has anything further to add.
You need a motion for it?
Sure,
Motion to close the meeting?
great.
Second.
Second? All in favor? Great. Thank you,
When's our
everybody.
next meeting?
The next meeting is
Whenever,
April.